Dead Space, originally released in October of 2008. At the time, it was released on all current platforms, and today is still available through Steam and Xbox platforms, retailing for $19.99 on Steam, but only $14.99 on Xbox platforms. Dead Space is an over-the-shoulder shooter, meaning that its gameplay most resembles Resident Evil 4. But it is not an exact copy of that formula. Importantly, how you dispatch of enemies is very different. Headshots are not your friend. Instead, the necromorphs of Dead Space are best dispatched by dismemberment, blowing limbs off, and you have many tools to blow limbs off with. The gimmick being that they're not traditional weapons by and large, but instead modified mining equipment. And while a few are unique, most of them adhere to your standard firearm archetypes. The plasma cutter is just a handgun. The force gun is just a sci-fi shotgun. But there are weapons like the Ripper that, at short range, seem like a fancy chainsaw, but can also launch blades across the room. All weapons can be upgraded, and all of them are equally viable choices for getting through the game. Necromorphs will also only drop ammo for the weapons that you are using, and you only find ammo for weapons you're not using in specific locations, so you will never be forced to use a weapon you are not familiar with. While the gameplay borrows heavily from Resident Evil 4, the story is more reminiscent of System Shock 2. You play as Isaac Clarke, who's sent to repair a ship that is floating dead in space. See what they did there? Bad things clearly went down on this ship. Most people are dead, and there's monsters everywhere. Isaac isn't just here to do a job, though. He's also here to find an old girlfriend. It might be a spoiler, but it doesn't go well for him. It is not just the setting that makes me compare this to System Shock 2. It also pulls the old chestnut of here's a very simple goal to accomplish, and as you're going to do it, things always get more complicated. And the simplest of tasks turns into a giant checklist. But that's not a real issue with the game, as the gameplay is good enough that having to do more of it is not a problem. It's also clear that there are some psychological ramifications to what's happening, as frequently you find audio journals from the now-dead crew, and it's clear that many of them are not seeing the same reality. And this starts to affect Isaac as the game goes on in different ways, to a point that I'm not sure if any of the events at the end of the game actually happen or not. But I rather like having things being open to interpretation, so it's a non-issue for me. The graphics are very good for 2008. The surreal appearance of the necromorphs makes them look better today than they would if they were strictly realistic. The voice acting is good and conveys the horror and stress of the situation. Sound is used to great effect to add to the mini jump scares. It seems I don't have a huge amount negative to say. I have a few minor nitpicks, but they don't ruin the game. For example, it's a little annoying that every time you see a necromorph laying on the floor, it's only playing dead. 10 times out of 10, if you shoot it, it will come and attack you. And had you tried to step over it, it would have ambushed you. And these enemies playing dead could have been used to a much greater effect, had there been some ambiguity as to if they were going to attack you or not. They could have provided you with a moment of, oh, should I waste a round to see if that thing's really dead or not? Because it's like 50-50 if it is. Might be better to just hold on to that round. But, as I said, this is a very minor issue. Overall, you probably already guessed that I am recommending this game. It's easily worth the $20 on Steam and a sweetheart of a deal for $15 on Xbox platform. But if those prices seem a little too spicy for you, I have good news, because this game frequently goes on sale on both Xbox and Steam. So with a little patience, you could get it for as little as $5. I wholeheartedly recommend Dead Space. Please do like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends.